What's happening, everybody? Hopefully you guys get on. I'm a little late. I apologize. I'm going to jump on here and copy this link if I can so you guys can hop on and whatnot like normal. Somebody's watching. All right, let me post this to the Facebook pages real quick. As usual, that's what I usually do. I'm out on my trampoline. If you couldn't tell, the dogs are really excited to be out here with me on the trampoline because who doesn't love to be on the trampoline? I do. Hopefully, you guys do too. I don't know. It's pretty crazy. Happy Thursday. Hope your week has been going well. The dogs are getting all amped up because it's Thursday. It's one day away from Friday. And that means the weekend is upon us. All right. Posting this to Facebook. And we've got the chat. Hey, everybody. What's up? We've got 7 people. Wow, a lot of people jumped on while I was away. Okay, so as you can see, my lovely dogs are here. So we're talking about breed labeling today. And if you guys are Laurel and Mary, say, hey, hey. What's up? If you're familiar, you're a Bark Buddy, you know this for sure. Most of the dogs are labeled as mixed breeds. And that's just because we actually don't know what they are. So I want to just talk about it, have a conversation. You guys can ask questions when you can. I am going to go away to my notes right now. So if I don't see your question right away, it's because I have my notes and Triple's helping me read them. So I will say, look, Triple's walking by. So you pay attention to what the dogs look like because we're going to have a quiz on it later. No joke. So Pet Alliance used to guess dog breeds. So when we used to have dogs come into receiving, which is the department where we take in our owner surrender pets, we would look at them and say, we got Triple. She looks like a lab. So we'd just label her as a lab mix and not think two things about it. We wouldn't pay attention to personality. We wouldn't pay attention to anything else. We would just say, that's a lab mix and put a lab mix on her kennel card and be done with it because that's what she looked like. If there was a tiny dog, Scoony's trying to show you his face. Again, pay attention. If it was a tiny dog with pointy ears, we'd call it a Chihuahua. Sometimes we would use the word mix. So like I said, Triple would be a lab mix, or it would be a pit mix, or any other kind of mix. And the reason we did that is because that was the trend. That was what you did. You didn't really ever pay attention to what a dog's personality was because look at this dog. She's so cute. So that's what you would label them as. And personalities weren't taken into account. We would just look at them, do our best guess, which is what most people do. That's what society has been taught to do. And that's what we did. And the problem with that is if you see a lab mix, so let's say Triple is labeled as a lab mix, and instead of being her crazy self, like you guys know, hey, Jackie, she was a couch potato and she didn't want to do anything. Well, when you think of lab, you think of this energetic dog that likes to go swimming, running, playing fetch, all that kind of stuff. So if we labeled a dog as a lab mix and they didn't do those things, people would get upset. They'd be like, well, you sold me a lab mix because, or you adopted me out a lab mix, and this lab isn't being labby. And so that was a problem we used to run into back in the day. I'm sure if any of you guys have been with us longer than the past 3 or 4 years, you'd notice that. We also noticed with some dogs, you got to get that toy out of your mouth. It's loud and obnoxious. They'd have a longer length of stay. So if we did label a dog as a pit mix, then they would have a longer length of stay than a dog that would be labeled as a lab mix. So sometimes, okay, no one can hear with you doing that. Stop it. So sometimes they would have a longer length of stay because we thought they looked like a big box-headed pitty, and they weren't actually a pitty. So there's this fun fact. Okay, Scooty, you need to stop. I apologize for his squeakiness. He is being crazy obnoxious right now. It's okay. That's life with a dog, right? Okay, so I wanted to give you guys this statistic. So the Animal Farm Foundation found that adoptable dogs in shelters and rescues are misidentified at least 75% of the time when shelter staff and volunteers relied on appearance alone to determine a dog's breed. So we were only getting it right 25% of the time when we were labeling dogs. And just to touch on cats real quick, we still label them mostly as domestic short hairs because there's not that much of a personality push or like the stereotypes of how a dog should be if there's a certain breed, or cats, I guess I should say. So, and we really don't know what kitties are. They're mostly just mixes. So we do label them as domestic short hair most of the time. I just want to clarify for all the kitty people that might be on here. Again, he's just adding fun. He is adding fun. He's a wild man. Look at him. Schooner, what are you doing? Look, there's Hops. You pretty girl. All right, I'm showing you guys them again. All right, so, which brings me to my next point. So we're going to guess. I need you guys to guess on the dogs. So I'll give you a good look here at Triple. There's her beautiful face. Look at her. So what kind of dog do you guys think Triple is? Look at this tail wag. So I actually had all the dogs DNA tested. So Mom, pay attention to me. For sure he is. So I had these 3 DNA tested, and you guys can say DNA tests are wacky, but go ahead and guess what kind of dogs each of them are. So this is Triple. Triple's the one right here that's sniffing in the air like an epic dog. So you guys guess what Triple is. There's her body. You guys got a good shot of her body. You guys can go ahead and guess what you think she is. You can be wrong. It's okay. That's what I tell everybody. If you went to my open house, then you know that you can be wrong. So throw some guesses out there, because when I guessed Triple, I said she was a black lab hound mix, and I was partially right. So that's your hint for Triple. Lab. Yep. Yes, Triple is 50% lab mix. She also has boxer and golden retriever floating around in there, which is something that I would never guess. And then she also has island dog mix, which is like an unidentifiable mix that they have no clue what she is. So for the most part, she's not shocking. So let's do Hops next, because Schooner is actually the most crazy one. So this is Hops. This is what she looks like. Look at that beautiful smile. So what do you guys think Hops is? I will tell you, I got Hops wrong 100%. I had no idea what the heck she was. This is what she looks like. Go ahead and make some guesses about that beautiful little tripod. She used to have 4 legs. Hey, Betsy, what's happening? Okay, guys, go ahead. Guess what Hops is. You can be wrong. I thought Hops was a Jack Russell mix. Boston Terrier, Terrier Pit mix. Jackie is way closer than I was. Look at that beautiful girl. All right, so she is, in fact, 50% Staffy. She also magically has German Shepherd in her. And then, again, she has that crazy island mix. So that is what you're looking at. Somehow there's German Shepherd in there. All right, and then lastly, we will do my main man, Schooner. Look at this guy. He's staring at his ball. He wants me to throw it, so I will. There he goes. So there's Schooner. There's some of his personality you guys can see. What do you guys think Schooner is? I thought Schooner was a lab Great Dane mix. Go ahead and throw guesses out for Schooner. Besides, crazy! I shouldn't have thrown that ball. We had such peace. All right, what do you think this big guy is? Right here. This is what I stare at all day, by the way. So Schooner, again, I thought he was a lab Great Dane. Shar-Pei because of the wrinkles. What do we think that wrinkly face is? Look at him. He's so handsome. Anybody else have any guesses? I was wrong. I'll tell you that. 100% wrong. And I yelled about it when we had our big reveal party. Look at, this is his personality coming out with Hops. Sometimes I think I do these just so you guys can see my dogs. All right, so Dane boxer mix. Okay, so here's the crazy part. Schooner is a bulldog golden retriever mix, which I know you guys are like, what? No way. That's not That's not even possible. Well, so this is what I learned after doing the DNA test. Are you ready for this fun fact? Look, Hops is ready for it. Only 3% of a dog's DNA is part of their physical makeup. So 3% of their DNA. Schooner, stop. Is their physical makeup, meaning 97% of a dog's makeup has to do with their personality, their health, all that kind of crazy stuff that makes a dog a dog. So it's mostly personality, 97%. So only 3%. That's why when you look at Schooner, you're like, what? That's a Lab Great Dane or a Shar Pei or what have you. But he is super smart. He picks up on tricks like nobody's business, which I think that's the golden retriever in him. And then he's got those crazy jowls and he's super lovable. I've never had a bulldog, but I know bulldogs drool a lot. Schooner drools a lot. Hops is like a pity, personality-wise. She wants to snuggle and cuddle. She's also very protective, like a German Shepherd. And you can yell at me if I'm wrong about German Shepherds being protective. And then Triple, and also Schooner loves the water. Triple loves the water. So that's the retriever in him. That's the Lab and Triple. Triple also likes to bat cell phones out of your hand. Or she likes to do this a lot. So that I think is a boxer trait as well. So it's just, I like to do that with people to demonstrate that we really don't know what we're getting. That's why we have moved to this thought, and people are even now still moving into it. We did it like 3 years ago. Shelters are still trying to adapt to it now and do it as a new thing. And so it's not something it's not as widespread as we want it to be, because we really want people to look at a dog's personality. You have to look past a dog's label. You want to look at their personality. You actually want to get to know them. So unless somebody comes in with paperwork or a DNA test, or we can look at a dog, like, when you have a golden doodle, when you have a husky, when you have a pure breed, if somebody's going to hand you papers. There are certain times that we will label a dog a certain breed, and that's because we can look at them 100% and know. Like if a Boston Terrier comes in, we know what a Boston Terrier looks like. I adopted a Shih Tzu out to my friend, who was told, we were told it was a purebred Shih Tzu, and that's what I said. And then she ended up with a dog that looked like a Schnauzer Shih Tzu. So pet places like to mislabel. They labeled Schooner as a Lab Great Dane at Petland, and they were wrong, clearly. So tell your friends, don't listen to Petland. Again, if you guys have any questions or comments while we're going through this, feel free to comment or ask questions. So we're really focused on matching personalities, and you Bark Buddies really help us do that. So you guys get to know these dogs sometimes more than we do. Our staff that cleans in the morning, they do get to know the dogs a little bit better. I like to run the dogs, but I really only get to know the dogs that like to be ran, or the dogs that end up in my office because they have mange or other things. I do go interact with the dogs a lot, but I don't get to know their personalities quite like the volunteers do, because you guys are taking them out. You're spending at least 15 minutes with them. So you actually get to know them a little bit more than the staff does. We wish that we could say that we play with dogs all day. And sometimes we do play with dogs, but it's not our whole day. Or cats. We do love the cats too. So you guys really help us get to know dogs. I mean, you guys make recommendations, you take notes and things like that. So when someone comes in and they say, I want a dog that swims, runs, jumps, plays. Well, we can't guarantee the swimming because we don't have a swimming pool, even though I keep pushing for us to get a swimming pool. And now a trampoline I really think would be great in Richmond. But if you say that you want an active dog, then our volunteers or our staff are going to say, okay, these are the dogs that we know are active. We're going to show you these dogs. If they ask to look at a dog and we know for a fact that that dog is a couch potato and doesn't want to run and doesn't want to play fetch and do all that kind of stuff, then we won't show it to them. We'll explain it to them. So that's where some of this mixed breed stuff comes in. And then also there might be apartments that have breed restrictions. So Scooney says, yeah, we don't like breed restrictions, do we? Look at this guy. You're a pinhead. So we have apartments. We have that apartment registry. I don't know if you guys are aware. We have it on our website. Let's see if anybody's commented. I just want to keep going back because I have my notes pulled up here. So we have an apartment registry that Schooner's really excited about because he's squeaking about it right now. And these dogs are running around too. Look, there's Triple. So we have an apartment registry, and sometimes other apartments have breed labels or breed restrictions. You are being crazy. And we want to get rid of that. So unfortunately, we do have adoptions that fall through because people say, oh yeah, my apartment doesn't have any breed restrictions because this is a mixed breed. And they bring a dog home that has a big boxy head, and then the apartment gets mad because they say, well, you have a mixed breed, but that looks like a pitty, and they won't let it happen. So unfortunately, we're still trying to convince people about that. It really will end up all with the insurance. But if you guys want to take a look, we do have that apartment registry online. We're trying to get rid of breed labeling and breed restrictions altogether. And if dogs do have to come back because we labeled them mixed breed and people see them as pit bull, we want them to come back to us. We want to adopt them out to a different forever home that we know is going to stick. It is becoming more widely used practice, a more widely used practice amongst shelters. We want it to be nationwide, but we can only lead by example, so that's what we're trying to do. And then it gives dogs a chance more so to be adopted. Woo! It's getting crazy in here. Look out, that was Schooner. When they are labeled mixed breed, because people don't have these preconceived notions of how a dog should be if they're labeled as a mixed breed. They might look a certain way, and then you get them out of the kennel. We see it all the time. Some dogs are super reactive at the cage, and then you get them out, and they are the most lovable dog in the world. So it is all, again, based on personality. And we are trying to get rid of those stereotypes with certain breeds. I have this crazy pit bull behind me, this white crazy pit mix. And as you can see, she's malicious and vicious, and she's just going to eat everybody. Not really. So we were trying to get rid of the stereotype. I mean, look at this gentle soul right here. So that's why we're also doing mixed breeds. Schooner agrees with me because he's barking. Adopters really want to know what breed our young puppies are and how big Schooner and how big they're going to be. Pretty much impossible to tell. How's Triple's ear? Triple's ear is perfect. Look at this. Healing very nicely. She's going to twitch. Yep. See, it's still a little tender to the touch because she has stitches. But Beth is 100% correct. Everybody wants to know what a puppy is. Schooner, stop. Hey, Scooney, stop. Everybody does want to know what puppies are. And Beth, I don't know if you always say they're mixed with 100% cuteness, but that's usually what I say. It's funny. Schooner, stop. Hang on, guys. Scoons, stop. Stop barking. Now he's going to come in and say sorry. He said sorry for barking, guys. But it's so funny. Love your shirt. Can I buy one? I don't know. He is 100% love bug. That's right. Betsy, that's usually what I say. Jackie, I know these are kids' shirts. So if you can fit into an extra large, I'll see if I can find one. Because this is what this is, a kid's extra large. We used to do birthday parties. Okay, Scoons, I'm going to throw this toy over the fence so you can't play with it anymore. Stop. He's really a knucklehead when it comes to dropping things. So anyways, I think it's funny because my sister, who knows where I work and has known that I work at Pet Alliance for 5 years, will always ask me, what kind of dog is that? And I look at her and I'm like, do you remember how we label dogs and what we do and everything? And she's like, oh yeah, you're right. Well, I think it's this. And I'm like, yep, I'll go with your answer. So it's where we can be creative. So volunteers, again, we're kind of hitting on this topic right now. When somebody asks you what kind of dog it is, because you guys know, Bark Buddies know, staff knows. I usually say whatever you think is right. Your guess is as good as mine. A mixture of love and cuteness. if I had to guess this, but we have no proof. We just know that this dog loves to jump on a trampoline and chew on toys. So that's where volunteers come in. You guys actually get to explain the reasons behind breed labeling and why we only label them as mixed breeds. And you help people actually have open minds about different looking dogs and breed labels and things. So you guys are delivering our message that we want to be widespread across the nation eventually, but we are working in Central Florida, and that's where we're going to be. But again, you guys really get to know our dogs. You know what they do, you know what they love, all that kind of stuff. So that really is the end of my portion of this. You guys have any questions, any comments? Betsy, what kind of puppies usually come from the island transports? So dogs that look like hops are very common. And then also dogs that look like Triple. Triple is from Puerto Rico and Hops is from St. Thomas. Triple doesn't actually look like your typical island dog. I would say Hops looks more like your typical island dog. They have that kind of look. My friends tell me I'm crazy if I think that an island dog has a kind of look. I think they do. But really, it is more of that island dog mixture that's small in stature. They don't get really huge. Beth, you've been on transport trips before if you want to chime in at any point, or anybody that's been on a transport trip that you've seen. I've gone on plenty, but most of what I've seen probably is more a dog like Hops that has some kind of pity running around in their DNA. And then for whatever reason, a lot of longer haired dogs come in, like fuzzy long haired dogs. And I know that Puerto Rico is really trying to step up their game with spaying and neutering. They get grants and stuff to get over there and spay and neuter and do spay neuter clinics and whatnot. Dr. Morris, Jackie, I'm sure you've heard her tell stories about going over to Puerto Rico and helping in spaying and neutering. Sunshine. Hi. Yes, Sunshine is one of those fuzzy dogs. So it's interesting what we get from the islands, because then they're the dogs. I think on the last transport trip, when we went to that hoarding case, in fact, not even from the islands, but like from locally, we had this beautiful dog that was completely gray or blue. He had yellow eyes and pointy ears, so he looked like a wolf almost. And that dog was from a hoarding case. So the dogs that we get in, that's what I think also people don't realize about our shelter. We get very unique, awesome looking dogs. It's not that we're always just filled with pity mixes, although I love pity mixes and I'll hug them and cuddle them all day. I used to have 2 pity mixes, small to medium. Exactly. I would agree with you, Beth. But we get really cool dogs. I love your run-of-the-mill pity mix, but also people that don't expect to have golden doodles or Great Danes. I mean, we've had Great Danes before. And then lab mixes, we had an entire litter of dogs that looked like Triple, and people love those kind of dogs. We didn't have an entire litter of dogs that looked like Scooty because he is a manatee. And they don't make too many manatees, do they, bud? So it really is interesting the kind of dogs we end up with, and that's what we want people to come in. We want people to see puppies. We want people to see the crazy purebreds, because they might not necessarily, they might come in thinking that's what they want, and then they find a dog like Hops that's part pity, and then they take Hops home because they fell in love with a dog they never thought they would. I never thought I would have a dog as small as Hops. I'm a very big dog person, and now I have a 40-pound dog, and she is so adorable and amazing. He's so bad. He is very bad. You're so naughty. Look at you. Look, I'm naughty. I'm a bulldog golden retriever. Oh, there they go. Does anybody have any other questions, any comments, anything you guys would like me to cover? My dogs hopefully haven't been too obnoxious on this call, and you guys have learned some stuff. And if you haven't learned, at least you've enjoyed the dogs being super cute. Who can replace the space? You guys have any comments, questions? Beth, do you have anything for the group. If you guys can hear anyway. I know I have homework. I need to check on these shirts. Jackie, I know you have a dog. Did you, from Pet Alliance, Jackie, did you get your dog DNA tested by chance? And this is what Schooner just typed to you guys, a bunch of dots. So, did anybody else get their dog's DNA tested and want to share a picture or say what their dogs are or any kind of shocking things like that? Because I know it's fun to share with your dogs. Stephanie Merlin had a conference call the other day, and she had a cat party. And Kathy Hood liked to show off her kitties when she was doing stuff about TNR. Does anybody have any webinars that they would like to see? Because I have some lined up, but I am always open to suggestions. If you guys want to do webinars or Zoom calls, you prefer Zoom calls to just me talking, let me know. Say something. Feel free to chat. I'm just hanging out here working really hard on my trampoline and hanging out with my dogs. So I haven't jumped on the trampoline yet today. I just came out here to do my Zoom call because it was super rainy this morning. Anybody have anything for the good of the order? Anybody want to say anything before I end? Let's see. Jackie got, oh, she's from St. Thomas and is a Pit Rottweiler Chihuahua mix. Wow. That little pup. So Jackie's dog probably weighs similar to Hop's, kind of similar in build. Look at these two love bugs. So probably close to kind of what Hops looks like, except she has 4 legs and is tan. So the fact that she is Rottweiler in there, that's insane. That's crazy. But again, it goes back to that 3% rule that that's only 3% of their DNA. Anybody else have anything before I end our lovely session about breed labeling? Laurel, I was just always afraid of pit bulls because of their reputation, but I've fostered 2 pit mixes and have loved both. Not at all like the reputation. Exactly. I love that. Oh, only 30 pounds. Oh, Jackie. Laurel, I completely agree. I think the power of fostering or volunteering actually really helps with getting rid of those stereotypes that you might have about breeds. It's funny, people in the business office, there's a couple people that have these stereotypes in their heads, and I'm like, go walk in the kennels, go get to know these dogs like I do, or the shelter staff does, and you probably won't have those preconceived notions. So anyways, dogs are barking about stuff. I don't know what they're barking about. Does anybody have any other questions, comments, anything for the good of the order? I'm just out here hanging out on a Thursday, having a good time, hanging out with you guys. I really enjoy doing these webinars. So if you guys think of anything you want to see about webinars, the net is getting in the way. Webinars, if you guys prefer Zoom or YouTube, or what do you prefer? As long as you can see the dogs, right? Because they're way more entertaining than I am. Anything, if you guys have any kind of suggestions, I am here. I'm on email. I'm here to serve you guys. You're 100% my priority. So I'm going to throw this ball. And with that, if anybody doesn't have anything else, we're going to say goodbye, aren't we, puppies? Say bye. Say goodbye, puppies. Thank you guys for listening, joining in, and interacting. I really appreciate you guys. Have an awesome weekend. I will see you next week for our transport trips and transfers. If you've been on them, come and share stories and all that kind of good stuff. I love sharing stories, as indicated last Thursday. You guys have a great day, and I will hopefully talk to you soon. Even puppies from the same litter can look totally different. That is 100% true, as seen by several of the fostering. If you guys tuned in for the foster puppy video, Anita's dog has spots and is spotted almost like an Australian Shepherd. And then the rest of the litter, some of them were tan, some of them were all white. It was crazy. All right, you guys, have a safe, happy weekend. Who knows? You might be able to go to a restaurant at 25% capacity next week. I don't really know. But make sure you read that email about us reopening and what we're going to do. And stay tuned. And maybe I will do a webinar about that so you guys can ask all the questions that you want. Anyways, again, email me, call me, whatever. Have an awesome Thursday, and I will see you guys soon.